everybody. Today's date is June 1st of 2020. Wow, what a crazy, wild week we've had here in our nation. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what socialism looks like. When the people get upset in a socialist organization, a socialist country, shall we say, they riot. They get fed up, and they just go and destroy everything, thinking that, well, that'll fix them, but it doesn't. We'll get more into that in a minute. My name is Jason Davis. This is Empower Volusia Common Sense, and we are coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden somewhere in the upper highlands of West Volusia County in an iron bunker hermetically sealed for my protection, and we are guarded by the two rabid Pomeranians and the crazy cat. And you can hear us on YouTube, you can hear us on Twitter, and we're on Facebook, and you'll be, pass this around if you get a chance to your friends and neighbors and everybody, because there's some very important information going on in this podcast today. Okay, and I'm just going to get right into it today. This is what's going on here, folks. We've got riots going on. You know, the First Amendment to the Constitution says you have the right to peaceably protest. You can assemble peaceably, voice your concerns to the government. We had that here in the east lower side of Volusia County, over on the beach side. There's a little town there called Port Orange, and we have this very large bridge. It's a causeway. It goes over the Intercoastal Waterway, and it goes to the beach. Our sheriff and the local police department were ready for anything. They peaceably assembled. Notice those words. They peaceably assembled. And they walked over the bridge with their signs, chanting, equal justice or whatever they were, chanting. Because I'm still going to go with this. Mr. Floyd was a horrible situation that happened in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It didn't happen anywhere else at that moment. It was there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yes, it was terrible. It was horrible. We've all seen the video. And I'm right, and you're right. It should never, ever happen. But it did. So you peaceably bring your grievances to the city of Minneapolis. That's what you should have done. Should have assembled, walked into City Hall, demanded to speak with the mayor and all the city council members that were there, or whatever you have up there. I don't know what form of government they have there, and express your disagreements and require them to take action and demand that they arrest this guy and charge him with murder. That's what you should have done. You got half of it right. You peaceably assembled and you walked around with your signs. But then that turned to mayhem too quickly. Pretty soon fires were started in garbage cans. Cars were being vandalized. Now you are beyond peaceable assembly and protest. Now you are an unruly mob, and now you are in and creating a riot. And anybody who's starting this, instigating this, I don't care if you're a man, woman, child. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, green, or purple. I don't care. If you are starting this, you need to go to jail and be charged with domestic terrorism. Those are facts. That is my opinion, totally on myself of what you should be charged as. But the rest is fact. You went overboard. And now this has migrated across the country from New York to California, from Florida to Washington State. You people are idiots. You need to pass this around to your friends, because maybe their kids are there, because most of these people that are doing this are children. They're kids about 15. I've seen 15, 16, 17, 18, up to maybe 20, 25. You're idiot children. You don't know the world. You don't know what's going on in this world. Yet you think that you're going to make me scared of you?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I am not afraid of a child at all. And even a New York State councilwoman or representative, I just saw her on TV. She says, I do not advocate violence at all, which is fine. You know, she's a Democrat. They think everybody should be love, peace, and chicken grease. But she said, I do not advocate violence. But if somebody enters into your home or your business, you need to defend your turf, your property. You need to defend yourself. She said that on television. Wow. Well, we agree with that. You know, you can go do your thing up and down the street. I do not mind, but the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution gives me the right to defend myself and my property and my family. And believe it or not, down here in the South, us good old boys will defend ourselves and our families. There's nothing more important than our families. Secondly is our property, but our family is first. So, but digressing slightly from that, I've been looking on the Facebook, and there's a lot of people that are calling for the President of the United States to do action because our leaders, and it's in quotations there, leaders are doing nothing. And then you read on and they say, yes, the leadership in the House of Representatives and Senate is not doing anything at all. And these are opinions. On Facebook, you're allowed to have your opinion, no matter how right or wrong it may be. It's your opinion. But let me explain something to you folks. Congressmen, congresswomen, and senators are not leaders. They are representatives of the will of the people, as stated in Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States. Okay? They're not the leadership. The leadership falls squarely and solely, the leadership of the federal government falls squarely and solely on the shoulders of President Donald J. Trump. There's your shot at daily truth.
You can't handle the truth!
And you probably can't. But that is a fact also in the Constitution of the United States. But regardless of that, people are saying, why isn't the president sending in the military? Well, because there's this little stupid thing that was enacted in 1973. It was called the War Powers Resolution, also known as the War Powers Act. It was enacted in November of 1973. Actually, President Nixon vetoed it because he said this takes all the authority away from the president when it comes to international instances, because he would know who to, because the president prior to has declared wars. Kennedy did. Johnson, Lincoln did. That was their sole that was one of their purposes as the president of the United States. They say, we're going to go to war. But in 1973, the House of Representatives and the Senate decided that, that's too much power for one man. See, for years, since FDR, they've been doing everything they can to take away the authority and power of the President of the United States because they feel that the House of Representatives, Speaker of the House, should have more power and authority than the true leader of the free world. But anyways, digressing again. Here it is, folks. In the War Powers Act, this is what it's all about. It's a federal law intended to check and this is from Wikipedia. The War Powers Act is a federal law intended to check the U.S. President's power to commit the United States to armed conflict without the consent of the U.S. Congress. Boom. Simple. That's a short, abridged version. Under the Constitution, war powers are divided under Article 1, Section 8. Congress has the power to declare war, grant letters of marque reprisal, there you go, license private citizens to capture enemy vessels, which we haven't had to do since 1700s, raise and support the Army, provide and maintain a Navy, make the rules for the government and regulation of the Land and Naval Forces, the UCMJ, provide for calling forth the militia, making rules concerning captures on land and air, and provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and govern such part as may be employed in the service. They govern such a part of the militia as may be employed in the service of the United States. In other words, Congress are the ones who make generals. You don't get just promoted. You have to be suggested. Then it has to go through an act of Congress to be committed as a general. Now, the states have a power to appoint the officers of the militia and train the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. Now, the president shall be, in Article 2, Section 2, provides that the president shall be the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into actual service of the United States. Let us put this in context. Militia is, in today's terms, your Army Reserve, inactive and active reserves, and the National Guard. The National Guard is actually controlled by the state. They're the ones that appoint people to positions and such like this. Here's your problem with the government, with the president bringing in actual armed military soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Here's your problem with this. He would have to commit martial law. To my knowledge, it has not been done since the 1870s in the United States, when a good old-fashioned Republican, Ulysses S. Grant, President of the United States, was asked by some southern states to send the military. He says, I have to activate martial law. They said, go ahead. I've lived in martial law countries when I served in the military. Korea. And martial law is really no fun, folks. You don't want this. You drive down the road, you go from county to county or state to state, and it's, let me see your papers. Are you allowed to be here? What is your business? I mean, it's a first, second, and third degree of questioning, and when the sun goes down, you better be, or a particular hour, you better be inside. There's no people on the streets. It gets interesting, it gets scary, and it gets, wow. I mean, it's above and beyond. You don't want that. Because if the president sends in the army, you're going to be under martial or military law. And remember, the president is the commander-in-chief. And he will make the rules. And basically they are, you will not be loitering and, littering, looting, stealing, burning things. That's what they do. But as you see, he can't send in the military because Congress has to say it's so. The War Powers Resolution requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of committing armed forces to military action and forbids armed forces from remaining more than 60 days with a further 30-day withdrawal period. That is one of the big things there. In other words, the president says, all right, go to war, like President Trump did, blow this person up, get rid of these Al-Qaeda operatives, and he commits special forces to do it. Well, Congress had a fit about it because you didn't follow the War Powers Act. Actually, he followed it to the letter because within 26 hours of him committing forces to a military action, he notified the Speaker of the House. Of course, it took several hours to get hold of her because, she was too busy eating ice cream out of her refrigerator built for a family of 5. Okay? So, there it is. He did do that. Now, we don't want that. But then again, we have other fail-safes here. And I got to ask a couple questions here, the War Powers Act it's a great thing, but here's the other thing about it. The state governor has to ask for help. And for a Democrat state governor or a Republican state governor to actually go to the federal government and say, I need your help, it's almost in their minds like saying, I can't do my job. When actually it is your job to ask for help when you need it. But that's okay. Because, see, there is a loophole that the Obama administration created in all of this. War Powers Act. It was called the creation of Homeland Security. What? Yes. Homeland Security is now. We all remember all the pictures of the tanks with Homeland Security marking on them. We remember all that, don't you? It was on Facebook everywhere. They had tanks rolling down the train tracks on train cars. It said Homeland Security. We had Humvees or armored vehicles going down the road on trucks, stated as Homeland Security. There was a shortage on ammunition, 9mm ammunition, because Homeland Security was buying millions and millions of rounds of ammunition. There was discussions about Homeland Security building these huge security places to hold, detain people. My question to you, my dear friend, and to Mr. President of the United States, where's Homeland Security? Their mission, Homeland Security's mission, matter of fact, I just looked it right up here. We can find the Homeland Security mission. Let's see if we can find the mission statement about DHS. Let's try that. Division of Homeland Security, to secure the nation from the many threats we face, period. This is not a threat. This requires the dedication of more than 240,000 employees in jobs that range from aviation and border security to emergency response. Where's these emergency response people? From cybersecurity analysts to chemical facility inspectors, our duties are wide-ranging and our goal is clear: keeping America safe. Where are you? Mr. President, I think it's time to ask the Homeland Security leadership, and we can tell you who it's right here on the website. Maybe you need to get a hold of Chad Wolf, John Guantanus, military. How about Rear Admiral Brandon C. McPherson? How about that? Maybe we need to get a hold of these people and ask them, why is Homeland Security not out here keeping America safe? They have, in theory, according to all the conspiracy theorists, built these huge detention facilities. Oh, we even have pictures of them, where kids were playing in the playground. Why aren't they out there picking these people up, putting them in the truck, and taking them to their detention facility to figure out who the heck is doing what, who's in charge, and start charging these people? Mr. Undersecretary Randolph D. Allies, where are you? Executive Director, Chief Security Officer Richard D. McComb, where are you guys? You should be out there. I mean, when a hurricane hits, what's the first thing you do? Bring in Homeland Security. You don't even bring in FEMA first. You bring in Homeland Security. Bang. They're here. They were up in Pensacola. They were up in Orlando. They were in Volusia County. The first people that showed up were Homeland Security. Then FEMA came in. Then we were able to get a hold of Red Cross and all those other people. How do I know? I was county chair of this county, the mayor of this county, as to speak, during that hurricane. I was out there in the mud, shaking the hands and kissing the babies and doing things, helping people, getting them tarps, getting them food, getting them water. That was my job, dealing with the people directly. But Homeland Security was there everywhere. Where are you today? Homeland Security, you need to come out. You need to step up to the plate. Otherwise, Mr. President, if Homeland Security is not going to do their job as by their own mission statement, Our duties are wide-ranging, and our goal is clear, keeping America safe. You are failing in your mission. You are failing totally. You know, these are the people that can operate on U.S. soil without the president activating a military and incurring martial law. He doesn't have to do that. All he's got to do is just say, here, Homeland Security, get up there to Minneapolis, get over to Atlanta. They've got offices, 240,000 people. 240,000 people, which I think is more people than they have out there protesting. I may be wrong. I don't know the numbers. But from the signs I'm seeing, you know, there's 1,000 here, a couple thousand there. So, Homeland Security mission. Okay, you know what? I can read some of this here. I got a couple of minutes here, so let me read. There's just a few paragraphs of their statement. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security and its Homeland Security mission are born from the commitment and resolve of Americans across the United States in the wake of September 11 attacks. In those darkest hours, we witnessed true heroism, self-sacrifice, and unified resolve against evil. We rallied together for our common defense, and we pledged to stand united against the threats attacking our great nation, fellow Americans, and our way of life. That's the first paragraph of Homeland Security's mission statement. They talk a lot about 9/11 here. But with honor and integrity, we will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. You have failed. That is their big blue sign with the American flag, those words, and U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Right on their page, dhs.gov/mission. Go to the website. Tell your friends. Go to this website. Now it's time to start talking to these people and emailing them, asking them why aren't they there. Because, folks, they're the ones that have the authority to go ahead and step up to the plate and secure and safeguard the American people.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
And that's correct. That is the way it's supposed to be done. Folks, it's time for us to step up to the plate and start use this internet. Use your Facebook. Use your Twitter accounts. Do like the president has done. It is time to start using social media for what it's intended to network to people around the country. They have a Facebook and a Twitter and an email icon up here. You know, I think I'm going to drop them a line and say, where are you? We need you. Get out here and do your job. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do with them. Anyways, boy, I come up with some good ideas. You do it too. That's right, America. Stand up. It's time to take the bull by the horns. It's time to tell these socialist, do-nothing Democrats who are trying to destroy our country, because that's what they're doing, and get in here with honor and integrity. We will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. It is time to activate Homeland Security for what they were created to do by Barack Obama and Joe Biden. But wait a minute. Maybe they won't. Because I don't know. They should be out there already doing it. Anyways, let's do that, folks. Let's get out there. Let's go ahead and just remember all this stuff when it comes November, folks. That's all I can tell you. Just remember in November that our Democrats' government was hiding and not available for anybody during this crisis in our nation. This is a true crisis. Nancy Pelosi told everybody, oh, all you congressmen and women, stay home. It's not safe for you for another month. And now this is happening. That's how you destroy a country. You create a faux crisis, stop everybody, lock them up, get everybody all wound up, and then turn them loose, and then step away and let them destroy a country or destroy their cities. It's time for us to go back to the ballots, folks. It's time for us to elect some different people. These do-nothing Democrats have done nothing more than just impeach, 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 Russia, Russia, Russia. And now it's COVID, 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 and now it's riot, riot, riot. Supported, and most of these guys are being bailed out by high-ranking Democrats, by George Soros. Yes, I said George Soros, who is funding Antifa. I mean, it's got to be funded by somebody, because all of a sudden these kids get to this corner and there's piles of bricks for no buildings being built, but all of a sudden there's just piles of bricks on pallets being delivered. You can't tell me that this is not being orchestrated from some high level. And the do-nothing Democrat leadership is at home behind their walls, eating their expensive ice cream out of their huge refrigerator that they could have a family of 5 live in, and sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm scared." If you're that scared and you can't go to work, or you don't go to work, then maybe you don't need to do that job anymore. It's time to get rid of these guys, folks. When you go to the ballot, remember in November, and before you cast that ballot, remember, use that common sense.